Welcome to The Business Fighter with Henry Penix. Henry has been the CEO, founder, and consultant to hundreds of companies worldwide. He retired a multimillionaire, financially independent at the age of 35. Henry grew up a preacher's son and was thrown in jail 3 times for various altercations. He knows what it means to come from nothing and have to fight his way to the top. Henry is the business fighter who will teach you strategic skills for winning in business and in life. Don't just spectate, participate. It's time to get in the ring.
Hey guys, Henry Penix, the business fighter, coming to you with another podcast. Today is an amazing day. This person that I'm interviewing is going to teach you how to stay secure online, and especially now with everybody working from home, you've got to listen to this guy, Dr. Eric Cole. Welcome to the Business Fighter podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. Well, like I do with every guest, I ask people to kind of give me 2 or 3 golden nuggets throughout the conversation that my listeners can actually use. They're really good about sharing with other people. We get a lot of shares on all of these. So you may be speaking to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or ultimately millions of people. But before we get into the kind of the nuts and bolts of it, tell me what led you to be so interested in cybersecurity.
The thing that really led me to that is I love having hard problems. One of the favorite things that somebody will say to me is, "This is impossible." If you say something is impossible, one of 2 things is going to happen. I'm either going to solve it or I'm going to die trying, but I am not going to stop. So when I recently got out of school, I was working as an intern, and one of my bosses said, "Oh, securing the radar system for the F-14 fighter jet," because I was an intern at Grumman Aerospace, cannot be done. It's impossible. And I'm like, "Oh, bring it."
Wrong guy to tell.
That was sort of the beginning of the journey where I'm sitting there, and I remember this was in the late 80s, I'm in a flight simulator, the actual cockpit of the F-14 fighter jet, and I'm trying to break in to the system and steal it. And I'm sitting there going, "You're paying me to break in? You're paying me to basically commit crimes?" So it's basically that I'm like, "Oh, I'm sold," where cybersecurity is all about solving difficult, impossible problems. And what I love about it is every day is different. If you don't stay on top of it, if I went away for 3 months, I'd be starting from scratch, because the adversary is always finding new ways in. So you always have to be creative, and you're always going to have to find these difficult problems and use your mind to come up with creative solutions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Some of the larger companies will actually hold contests, and they want you to try to hack their company. Some of the larger companies, some of the even banks, so they may not announce it openly or publicly, but I know a few guys who know quite a bit about coding and all of that they've been involved in some of that, and that's absolutely right. So as a kid, were you always curious? What kind of a background did you have growing up?
Yeah, I was always one of those curious kids. My mom will tell you that since I started walking, even when I was 15, she couldn't leave me alone in a room because I would just take stuff apart. When I was 14, she comes in and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I want to know how the lamp works." So I took the whole lamp apart, and she's like, "Yeah, but you have to get it back together." I'm like, "That's right, but once you take it apart." So yeah, I was always fascinated with how things work, how they operate. And I was originally going to major in architecture because I was just fascinated how a bridge or a building actually stands and holds the pressure and the weather. And we had a friend of the family that I still every year send him a bottle of whiskey as a thank you note. He said, "Eric, everything is moving to computers. Why don't you major in computer science, and then the world is your oyster?" And that was probably the best advice I ever received.
Oh my gosh. So I got a lot of people who they'll write in and they'll say, "Henry, what should I do in life? I feel like I'm going down a dead end road," so on and so forth. And I always tell people, I said, if you don't get out of bed every morning excited to go to work, you probably got the wrong job. And it sounds like you, Eric, have that passion every day. One, because the world changes every day. What we knew about cybersecurity just 30 days ago is no longer in effect. So you have to do it. It's like you've been put on this electronic treadmill that you can't get off ever because it's always changing. So, but you have passion about your job. You love what you do. And How important do you think that is for people to find their passion in life and really do what they love to do?
I think passion is really important. But what I say is even more important than that is purpose. What is the reason you were put on this planet? Because what I find is kids go to college, and I'm dealing with this with my son, and he takes a political science course, and he has an amazing teacher. So he gets passionate about that. And then he wants to major in political science. So he switches his major. Then next semester, he takes political science with a boring teacher. And he was like, but the computer science class is amazing. So now he's passionate about that, and he switches majors. So to me, you can have a lot of passions in life, and that's okay. But ultimately, it's what is your purpose? Why were you put on this planet? I believe everyone has a unique purpose, and you have to figure that out. And the way you do that is by, like you said, what are the things that will keep you up at night? What are the things that get you excited? And to me, it's making cyberspace safe. If I ever lose my edge, if I wake up in the morning and I'm a little tired, I'll just go and read an article about a 75-year-old person that had their entire savings wiped out, or a child that was stalked. And that just juices me. I'm like, there's more work for me to do. Until everybody is safe in cyberspace, and until we get all these criminals behind bars, there's a mission. It's my purpose, and I'm not going to stop.
So I've got two questions for you, and you've already dropped some amazing golden nuggets. So I could end it right here, but I've got 15 more minutes with you. So I'm going to use them. I'm going to enjoy every minute. By the way, when we talked, we got along so well. And I felt like you were a brother from another mother already.
Exactly. So, I felt the same way. We just connected.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I've got a couple questions. Number one, what's the biggest like cyber heist or cyber break-in that you've heard about that you can share? I know you're under NDA and you've got a lot you can't say, but is there something that stands out to you that say, Henry, you won't believe what happened in this case? Do you have any of those stories that you can even share? But one?
Absolutely. You just tell me when to stop, because I have plenty. But this one happened last year, and you won't find it on the news, and you won't find it in any magazine or newspaper. And the reason is they went in and they stole $20 from individuals. Now, $20 from an individual doesn't seem like a lot, except when we got to the root cause of it, they stole $20 from 3 million people. So now when you start doing it, it now adds up to a significant amount of money, but nobody cares about $20. Most people wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, it's a rounding error, maybe.
Exactly, a couple dollars here and there. So that's one where it was over a $60 million heist from a company, not individuals. A company in Russia actually did this, and we found out about it. And the problem we had is because it's in Russia, there's no extradition treaty, and it was only $20, so it wasn't any major laws. No channel would take the story, and law enforcement wouldn't investigate it. But these are the types of things that are happening every day that people are just not aware of.
But guys, listen, this is an international heist, over $60 million. None of the news people would pick it up, but listen to me very carefully. You just heard this on the Henry Penix Business Finder podcast with Dr. Eric Cole. Awesome. No, that's amazing. So what ultimately happened to him? Did you have to just walk away, or were you able to somehow get monies back, or what happened?
So if this is going out over normal channels, I will just say that I didn't do anything about it. But if we were having beers and we were off the record, let's say I did a few things to make it a little harder for them to take advantage of more folks and take advantage of others. But it could be in a gray area. So we'll leave that for another time and another day. And that's one of the hardest part of my jobs, is balancing that line when you know somebody is bad and you know they need to be punished, but there's not necessarily legal ways to do it.
No, I hear you loud and clear. After you did it, did this laugh come to you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, good. Well, no, I love those type of stories, and I love the person you are. You've got some deep-rooted passions, and you've got deep-rooted honor and honorability, I can tell, to want to make sure the right thing is done. If you didn't, there's no way you could be in this type of business. And sometimes people with your intelligence and connections and experience do go down the wrong path, and you're the guy taking the 60 million, you know. So I'm glad you're on our side. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. And that's one of the other big lessons that I've learned over my career is if you follow what you love and your purpose in life, you'll always make money and you'll always be happy. But if you follow the money, it could lead to unhappiness. There's 3 times in my career that I made major mistakes and I screwed up and I lost intellectual property or I lost business. And in all 3 cases, I followed the money, not my gut instinct. My gut instinct was like, you shouldn't do this. But I see the $3 million check in front of me and I'm like, oh, it's $3 million, you got to do it. And every one of those times, they were always mistakes. So that would be the other thing that I tell folks is people are going to throw money at you if you have skills, but don't let them bring you into their scheme and pay you off with money. Because one of my favorite quotes is other people will pay you money to build their dreams if you're not brave enough to step aside and build your own. So if you're not willing to go out and build your own dreams, other people will pay you money if you're a smart person.
Eric, that is so good. Wow. No, that's causing me to think about some of my relationships right now.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, passion, purpose, everything oozes from you. And this is such a great conversation. So tell me how you founded, and we've got about 5-6 more minutes left here. Tell me how you founded your company. First, let me know how people can get more of your information. You said you had a giveaway or something that people could go and read about some of this. Tell me that first, and then follow that up with how you started the company.
So if you go to secure-anchor.com/cyberguide, I put together a guide for people that are working from home, running businesses remotely during all this craziness that's going on in the world right now. And it's a free resource that'll just take you step by step through practical but non-obvious things you need to do to protect and secure yourself, your family, and your business during these trying times.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And so is that the name of your company, Cyber Anchor?
Secure Anchor.
I'm sorry, Secure Anchor. I was thinking cybersecurity. Secure Anchor. So how did you start that? Do you have partners? How did you get into that? And how did you actually form the company?
So the short answer is I formed Secure Anchor because I'm crazy and nuts, but I'll give you the slightly longer answer. So I'm also an entrepreneur. I love building and running companies. I worked at the government as a professional hacker for 8 years at the CIA, but I don't like having bosses that tell me what to do that don't necessarily know what they're doing. So I left the agency and I started a company called TSGI. I was the CTO, and we ended up selling that to Lockheed Martin for $400 million. Then I stayed at Lockheed Martin as the chief scientist, and then McAfee recruited me as their CTO, and I worked with their executive team to revamp the entire technology line, and then we sold that to Intel for $2.7 billion. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I was like, you know something? I've started multiple successful companies and sold them with other people, but I want to do it on my own, right? It was one of those crazy
I made a lot of other people a lot of money.
Yeah. And I was doing well, and it was one of those, I'm at the point now where I don't necessarily have to work, but I love it. I don't consider it work. I consider it fun. So I'm like, you know something? I really want to create like an Armani of cybersecurity that really focuses on delivering high-end solutions that work to clients and customers. Because there's so many cybersecurity companies out there that are just about the money, low quality, not providing value. So I'm like, I really want to create this unique company that does training, keynotes, and assessments that really makes a difference in the world and helps make cyberspace safe. So I started Secure Anchor, and it's slowly growing it, but being smart. We're up to about 12 people now that are employees, about 20 contractors, and just really focus on making a difference, providing resources, and helping companies really protect and secure their digital assets.
Now, are you doing keynotes, and can companies hire you to come in and train their top people in security?
Absolutely. So if you have an event and you want me to keynote, that's really where I spend most of my time, is traveling around the world keynoting, because I just love sharing knowledge and information. But my company, we also do training. We do security assessments. We do risk assessments, remediation. And our favorite thing is to create a security roadmap So if you don't understand what cybersecurity is, but you think you should be, and you know that you're a target and it's your responsibility, we can create a very nice roadmap that you can understand with metrics for the executives that will show you exactly what you need to do to be safe in cyberspace.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Wow. I asked for 2 or 3 golden nuggets and you've just dropped like 30.
Okay.
So thank you. Thank you very much. So if people, I can't imagine anyone not listening to this and going to get that free resource, but just in case somebody doesn't, give me your top 1 or 2 things that you would, if you came to me and said, Henry, I see you're having to work home over these next 3 months. These are 2 or 3 things that you should be particularly careful with. And these are some things that may not be obvious, like you said, but you should implement. What would you tell me?
So the 2 things, one would be when you're doing online banking or cloud-based services or third-party websites, they all have security built in, but it's not turned on by default. So spend a few minutes turning on the security. And the favorite one for banks, credit cards, and e-commerce, anything that can impact you financially, is turn on text alerting. If somebody goes into your bank account and tries to transfer money or do a fraudulent check or use your credit card, if you get a text notification and you respond within 24 hours, you can always get your money back. But if you wait till the end of the month and it's more than 3 days, the money's gone and you're liable and out the money. So have visibility into your accounts and do text alerting.
Because some people would see text alerting as just a pain in the butt and I don't want you texting me, but you're saying it's a security measure. And if you respond within 24 hours of getting a text alert, something happened to your account, they took out 20 grand or 1,000. If you respond in that 24 hours, then the bank has to give you that back?
Exactly, because it's still on a hold pattern. And here's what I always tell folks, because they go, Eric, this is annoying. You have 2 choices. Option 1 is you can have a 30-second annoyance every day by responding to text messages. That's option 1. Or option 2 is in 30 days, you can lose $200,000. Which option would you like? And I literally just had an interview with a vice president of a large bank who should have known better. And she was scammed last year, $473,000, almost $500,000. And she was smart and knew technology. So if it can happen to her, it can happen to you. It's all about visibility and quick response to protect yourself.
Yeah, and it's free and your bank offers it. So why wouldn't you do it?
Exactly.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, the second thing, any other thing you would suggest me doing or thinking about as I'm working from home, sending files to other people, sending spreadsheets, sometimes talking about financials, anything else?
Yes, so the most dangerous application that accounts for over 70% of all targeted scams against individual is email. You hear phishing schemes where you get a legitimate looking email now that looks like it came from the IRS or the CDC or the government. And whether we like it or not, we just went in and over COVID-19, we examined over 537 different pieces of malware that all came via email, and 100% of them was programmed to run on Windows operating system, because most people have a Windows operating system. So my other piece of advice is when you're checking email or surfing the web and you're clicking on links or opening attachments or going to unknown sites, use a non-Windows based device. Use an iPad, an iPhone, or an Android, because all of this malicious software doesn't work on those devices, so it'll keep you safe. But if you make a mistake and click on it on the Windows box, 1 click is all it takes, and your entire identity and bank accounts could be wiped out.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, I could spend another hour with you at least. I know. That is awesome. Guys, listen, you have to go get this guy's free resource, Dr. Eric Cole. You have to get his resources now. Eric, tell him one more time where to get it, and then we're just about out of time. I want to wrap this up.
Secure-anchor.com/cyberguide. So secure-anchor.com/cyberguide. And if you have questions or comments, ecole, E-C-O-L-E, at secure-anchor.com is my email address. And I always love helping people or answering questions.
Oh my gosh, that's so generous. Thank you so much. Your passion, your heart, your willingness to help people, again, just oozes from you. I can tell you're doing what you want to do in life because of that passion, because of just your smile. I mean, to be in such a, you know, a lot of coders that I talk to and a lot of very, very intelligent people, they'll come to me and it's like, yes, how can I help you?
Exactly.
You know,
That's what you're doing.
yeah,
The
no, I know,
monotone
I
voice,
know.
yeah.
And dude, you're like the opposite, but you have all the other qualities and even better qualities. So it's been a pleasure and a true honor to talk to you about this. Guys, go get his free resource. He just left you his email address to if you've got any questions, you can hit him up, ask him about your security measures or anything that you'd like to do. If you want to hire him as a keynote speaker, anything and everything, just get a hold of him directly. I obviously never intertwine myself with people. I get nothing. All I want to do is pass along great information. I've been very blessed and fortunate in my life to be in the position I'm in now. And I just want to pass that on to other people. This is what makes me happy. So Dr. Eric, thank you so much for spending your time with us. And until next time, Henry Penix, the business fighter, Dr. Eric Cole, talk to you later.